She dragged the NBA into the digital age 15 years ago and still curates the Professional Basketball League's Tech Summit. She also got social through her startup that matches fantasy sports and Facebook. Now, Brenda Spoonmore wants to pair property owners around the world with travelers looking to book a unique vacation. How does she connect and stay connected as an entrepreneur, all-star mom, and a thought leader? Brenda has clearly built the foundation to her business empire. What'll it take now to raise the roof? I'm Hanson Hosein. Welcome to 4 Keys. Well, Brenda Spoonmore, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, 2 startups, and you helped take the NBA digital. What's with all this appetite for risk?
It's exciting. It's exciting to be part of the technologies and the foundations of how we consume media, how the economy is building. I mean, ultimately it goes back to building sort of a new structure for content. And each of these is really about something completely new. I get bored easily.
You get bored easily, but you start to do the digital stuff, the NBA, back in '97. You probably had to do a lot of convincing for people who thought it was way too racy and exciting for them. How do you convince people to do this stuff?
You know, the NBA had very forward-thinking leadership, so that was a huge advantage. We had most of our struggles early on with PR at the leagues, and now, like, flash forward to where we are now in the use of Twitter and athletes talking directly to fans. I mean, that would have been unthinkable 10 or 15 years ago. But we were really fortunate to have leadership that not only encouraged us to take risks, but that was our job, and it was a terrific environment to be in.
So you've helped kind of write the rule book for a lot of this stuff because there were no rules as you were experimenting, I imagine.
We literally wrote the rule book. I mean, there are, each sports league is really a state-federal system. There are things teams can do, there are things that leagues do. And there are sets of rules about what can be done in markets with different sports teams, like Seattle sports teams, and at the national level. All of those rules were made before the digital age. So we literally had to take all those rules about sponsorship, distribution of content, communication with fans, and rewrite those for how the world now works.
Wow. And you still have a relationship, obviously, with the NBA. You still consult with them with their, looks like a behind closed doors event, like TED for the basketball league, essentially, where you got some really powerful speakers basically sharing the future with players and managers. Why is this technology summit so important to the NBA?
Well, the NBA has always been very, as I said, very forward-leaning, and we decided early on in my tenure at the NBA that we wanted to be the thought leaders in terms of sports and digital and media and how all those things come together. And they're fortunate to have a great brand, and when we invite speakers like Brian Roberts or Eric Schmidt or the director of the JPL, they tend to want to come talk to this group. So it's really, it's been tremendous because each year we develop a theme, we develop the panels, and then really we can get top-notch panelists and also moderated by top-notch talent.
Can I go? How do I get to go? How does somebody get to go to this? You have to be invited, it sounds like,
It is an invitation-only event.
Okay.
It's true. And it's generally people who have relationships with the NBA, team owners, league partners, media partners, CNN, ESPN, Fox. We'll talk after the show.
I definitely want to talk to you about that. What I find most amazing about you, I find a lot of things amazing about you, but you started working with the NBA in the mid-90s. You've done 2 startups still since then, but you have relationships with all 3, and it's like you're working 3 jobs at the same time. Why are you unable to burn any bridges?
That is an excellent question. I like the people I work with. I mean, in each case, I think I've managed to develop a really strong team that I have a lot of respect for and that I have a lot of loyalty to. So one of the reasons I stay involved with the NBA is I really believe in their leadership. They give me an opportunity to do some interesting things, so I continue that relationship. Fantasy Moguls, that's my team, my original startup that I put together. That's my team, those are my guys. I stay involved as chairman of the board because I want to see them succeed and support them. That's an excellent question.
And you're a mother of 2 boys as well, and you've said that you actually have a second career, which is actually to be a mom. There was actually an article that went viral in the Atlantic magazine a few months ago that said, can women really have it all, or women can't have it all? I mean, how do you balance that?
My answer is there is no balance. So that concept needs to get thrown out the window. I think what you can do is be 100% present in what you're doing at any given time. So when you're with the kids, the devices need to go away, and you need to be fully present with the kids. And when you're at work, you need to have confidence that you've set up a system, whether it's the preschool or a nanny or daycare, that your kids are being well looked after. But it's difficult. You're going to get torn, especially in those transitions. But I think the number one thing is be completely present with your kids when you're there, be completely present at work when you're there. And that's the best you can do.
How do you keep the stress away from the kids, and how do you keep the sleep deprivation away from the business?
Oh, well, sleep deprivation stays away from nothing. That's pretty pervasive. I'm not stressed around my kids. Well, sometimes I am, but not for work reasons. I mean, if you are completely present with your family, when you're with your family, you have a different set of priorities. And I know that after they go to bed or after they get dinner, I'll have a chance to get back to sort of the work tasks I need. But really, the times I get the most stress are when I'm trying to multitask work and family at the same time. So I really just try to be doing one of those things at a time and hope that the priorities get done on any given day.
Even though you're an accomplished professional, you could have easily just taken a high-end job with a high-end, well-established organization where the rules are pretty set, as opposed to sort of creating something from scratch, which takes a lot more work and creativity. Wouldn't you just make that easier on yourself and on your family?
It is very tempting. There are days where that seems like an interesting path, right? Because there are really fun, structured jobs that are high-paying, where I could probably, I know the rules and I know I could do well at it, but I like to build things. And ultimately, I decided many years ago that my goal was actually to be an interesting old woman. And when that's the filter through which you put things, is to sort of be an interesting person, it means that you take opportunities and you take perhaps the less beaten path and you see what your capabilities really are. I mean, I loved my time at the MBA, but it's easy to be successful at the MBA if you're good at what you do. It's harder to be successful when you step out from behind a big brand and try to build something yourself. And I wanted to see if I could do it.
Well, you're going to be an interesting old woman. I'm just going to be a grumpy old man. But when we return, we're going to talk about what you're building and about Dwellable and see what some of the challenges that you're facing. We'll be right back. Well, we're back with Brenda Spoonmore, founder of Dwellable.com. So Brenda, what was the problem you were trying to solve with yet another startup? Why Dwellable?
Well, Dwellable solves a problem. We're a vacation rental search engine, and we're both on the web and on mobile devices. The problem we're trying to solve is that the current products in the marketplace are Web 1.0. And by that I mean small photos, they're a classified ads model, so you only get a subset of results on any given search.
So these are the vacation rental websites.
These are the vacation rental websites. It's HomeAway, which also owns VRBO, it's FlipKey, and then there are some smaller competitors out there. But they haven't been innovating as rapidly as the rest of the marketplace, and they haven't been innovating as rapidly as consumers expect them to. The other thing that we're doing is we list all rentals. So you come to the site, you're looking for a rental in Maui, you pick the area you want to go to, and you're going to get a result that gives you all the rentals that match your criteria. There is no site out there that does that right now. All the other sites are a classified ad system, so there's only a subset of vacation rentals for each of those.
And they're preferential to a particular site, and you're not getting the full picture, essentially,
Not only are they preferential, but those owners actually can pay more to be listed higher, and most consumers don't realize that.
So I wanted to give folks a snapshot or an insight into the empire that you're building. We got a chance to visit your studios, which are fairly close to your home, I imagine.
That's right. It's a short commute.
And people imagine startups are sexy with free food and whatever else, but here you are walking over to, I guess, the top of Queen Anne here in Seattle.
That's right.
And is this the way it all works out when you're looking at a bootstrap startup, that it's actually a few computers and a small number of people essentially trying to figure it out?
Bootstrap startup is all about, it's all about your co-founders and it's all about your idea. And if you're spending money on anything else, you're doing it wrong. So it really is, it's a meritocracy in its barest, most survival of the fittest mode.
Does that mean, when you say bootstrap, does that mean some of the cash has actually come out of your pocket as well to fund this?
Yes, that's right. So there are 3 founders. I have 2 technical co-founders, Adam Doppelt, who co-founded Urban Spoon, and Nathan Kriege, who is also a co-founder at Snapvine, which is sold to White Pages. And they are terrific engineers, and the 3 of us together we're self-funding, so we're putting the money in. And that's actually by choice. We want
you believe in it that much.
We believe in it that much, and we don't want to have to take the advice of a board of directors that we may or may not agree with. So, this allows us to retain full control, decide the direction of the product and the business, and obviously retain more equity for the founders.
So the app is out there right now, Dwellable.
Absolutely.
We have it up. What's it? I mean, how are people responding to it, and what's it going to actually take to take it to the next level?
Well, so we really have two consumer bases with this. So on the one hand, we've got property managers and property owners, and they're looking for alternatives to list their property so they can reach travelers. Right now, they have to pay hundreds of dollars to do that on the other sites. We do this for them for free, and it looks better.
So where are you making your money?
We will make money on featured ad placements, and then at some point in the future, we'll probably enable booking for some subset of those results. So that's one client base. On the other side, of course, is the traveler, is somebody who's looking for a great vacation rental. These are families looking for extra space in a kitchen. These might be adventure athletes that need more space, someone who wants to do cooking with local produce. There are all kinds of reasons that you might want a vacation rental over a hotel. And so what we're doing right now is we're creating this independent marketplace that matches these folks together. And again, the fact that there are all rentals, it seems so simple, but it's really it's really Google, but prettier, and allowing people to actually find the best rental.
So a powerful search engine, essentially.
It's a powerful visual search engine,
yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that's really different about what consumers expect in 2012 and 2013.
I think that's absolutely true. I think you see the rise of Pinterest and Instagram. It's fundamentally about visual media more than anything else.
No, that's right. And we've made a strategic decision. We're front and center with high resolution photos. So in fact, we tell our property managers and owners, we'll feature you for free if you put high resolution photos up there.
So if you had the bottom line in a very short period of time, what's your fundamental challenges right now as you're getting this out there? What would it be?
The biggest challenge is always about building awareness and building traffic, especially for a bootstrap startup. Travel it's very expensive to reach people if you're buying search terms or buying media. So our strategy has to be a lot scrappier, in a way a lot more authentic. So it means that we develop a strategy of reaching out to travel bloggers, of reaching out to niche publications for destination weddings, parents traveling with kids, golf outings. So we have to have a much kind of scrappier, content-driven outreach, because we're not going to be able to just buy our audience.
Well, when we come back with Brenda Spoonmore, we'll talk about content and engagement and try to diagnose some of those challenges with you.
Excellent.
We'll be right back. Well, we're back with Brenda Spoonmore, founder of Dwellable.com. And Brenda, you mentioned the challenge that you're facing right now. It's primarily one of engagement. You also discussed that although you could use search terms as a way to get people to the site, that fundamentally people are getting there through the mobile apps, right, on iOS or on Android.
That's right, that's right. I mean, right now we're about 80% mobile traffic, in fact. So we have people coming to the site. It's largely long tail, so people looking for a specific neighborhood in Maui, and they put that search term into Google. They may come directly into that section of those rentals. But mobile's a whole different ballgame. Like if your app is on the iOS marketplace, as ours is, and on Android, then people have to know what they're looking for. There's a little bit of SEO, but it doesn't work in quite the same way.
So let me put this to you. I mean, it's obvious that people, when they're looking for a vacation property like I am right now, it's not, obviously they're going to say, yes, I'm going to open Dwellable.com, but wouldn't it be great that they would open your app even when they're not looking for a property? How could we make it more aspirational as opposed to functional and utilitarian? And so I was thinking, these pictures are beautiful.
Yes.
Right? Is there a way to actually create stories around each of the properties or around the site themselves so you could almost make it like a de facto TripAdvisor magazine type platform?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, one of the areas that we can differentiate ourselves is user-generated content, right? So we're this independent platform, reviews, potentially letting travelers add their own photos. But right now what we've done is we've really come front and center with the high-resolution photos. We've really focused on the tablets, so on Android Nexus 7, and we're working on our Nexus 10 build, and also on the iPad. And we we see most of our traffic actually on mobile coming in through those tablets. So we think what's happening.
More than smartphones.
It skews towards it over-indexes on the tablets.
Is it because you want more screen space, or because it looks so darn nice on the tablet?
Well, I think it's two things. I think one, it looks terrific, right? I mean, and we've designed it to be very magazine-like so that you can flip through those beautiful photos. I also think when we look at our stats, we see that people use these in the evening. And I think what's happening is,
it's like that lean back experience.
It's very much a lean back experience, and a show your spouse, show your roommate, that you're together making a decision about where to go. So someone is flipping through, applying a filter, finding the places, and then sharing that experience with somebody else on the tablet.
So as the company matures, how comfortable would you feel, and how comfortable would the property managers feel to allow the community, the people who actually use these properties, to contribute their reviews, their impressions, and their photographs to make the site a richer one?
Well, that's absolutely where we're headed. So there's no coincidence that one of my co-founders was a co-founder at Urban Spoon. And a lot of what Urban Spoon did is they created an independent directory of restaurants and then started to layer in this consumer-generated content to create a richer experience. So I think absolutely we want to provide avenues for the community to come in, tell other travelers what it's really like. Is it really as great as it looks? Is that photo representative, or is there another way? Is there another photo that might represent that bedroom better?
If you compare the experience and your ambitions with Dwellable to what you started out with NBA, and NBA is a really well-established institution that makes most of its money from really established institutional media. And now we're talking about taking an app and making a beautiful online magazine out of it. I mean, that's a really interesting transition for you.
I suppose it is. I've always been interested in, in sort of linear and nonlinear narratives, and it's how you tell stories with digital media. And with the NBA, it could be stats, it could be video. There are a lot of different ways you could do it. In this case, we're trying to tell a story and provide a functionally better experience to the consumer. And I think that's where, to me, it feels authentic, and where we're providing a service that they might not otherwise get. And that's also really where our point of differentiation is versus our competitors, which is, because property managers aren't paying us, we can provide an independent, unbiased view of these rentals.
That's interesting. I love the notion of storytelling and authenticity in something so functional as a property search app.
This is about vacations. People are coming in here and they're imagining themselves and their kids or their extended family or their golf buddies in this rental having some kind of experience. I mean, you're writing yourself into the story. To the extent to which there are these beautiful photos, it's a beautiful place, you feel like that's where you're going to have an experience and write your own story. That's when people get over that sort of the emotional connection, and that actually drives the transaction to the vacation rental.
Well, I'm a storyteller myself, so this gives me great hope. I think you've got a great future for Dwellable.com. Well, we'll be right back as Dwellable.com's Brenda Spoonmore shows me a thing or two on the basketball court.
Four Peaks is made possible by generous support from Weber Shandwick.
So I'm the worst possible basketball player, but apparently this is a great sport for kids. So Brenda Spoonmore is going to teach me and my daughter Rose how to play basketball.
So the first skill we're going to learn is how to dribble, okay?
What is, that's a funny,
a little bit
that's
of
a
that
funny
already.
word.
It's a funny word. So dribbling means taking with one hand, so not two hands, but one hand, and we're just going to bounce it once and hold it. Want to give that a try?
Can you do that, Rose?
Kenzie,
Bounce
try
once
it?
and hold?
And then pick it and then hold it.
Whoa.
Good job.
And I see you're holding your hand almost like a claw.
I am holding my hand like a claw.
Wow.
So you want to keep your hand up on top of the ball and touch as much as you can with mostly your fingertips. See how the middle of my hand isn't even touching the ball? Okay? Because that's going to give you the most control when you dribble. See how I can move it like that? Okay. So
Wow.
we're going to try 3 times with the fingertips.
You can try it. We'll see. It's not. I can't do it very well either.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Go.
Yeah,
One.
give it a try.
Oopsie. 1, 2, 3. See how Papa holds like
Hey,
that?
Hanson got it.
Yeah.
Here you go, much Rosie.
1, 2, 3. Whoa, you got
Oh,
it! 3
good
times.
job.
Nice. Okay, fist bump.
Do you want to try it?
Good job,
One of the
Rose.
most important things we got to learn is what's the high five, Tenzin? Show it.
Oh. Can I do the high five with
What
you
do
too?
we say? Boom. So we've learned a little bit about the dribbling, okay? So now we're going to try passing.
Whoa. Nice.
Okay,
Can you
good job.
throw
And
the ball to
Tenzin's
Tenzin?
actually doing, so the first thing that I like to start with on passing is the bounce pass. Well, you know, I try not to let them overthink.
Yeah.
To stand up. One thing that they're doing naturally is they're actually both watching the ball really well. So a lot of times with sports, like with baseball, you really have to remind kids to watch the ball. These guys are doing it naturally, so I'm trying not to give them too many things to worry about.
Got it.
And the most important thing, I mean, we're practicing some of the basic skills here, which are, I mean, everything in basketball derives from the basic skills we're working on. The fact is, these guys are going to want to keep practicing these skills if they're having fun.
Yeah.
Hey, you go get it. you go get it.
Oh, Rosie. It's free for all.
And if it turns into a different set of skills, all the better.
Whoa! 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 That was, you guys were fast.
So what this is starting to teach is movement,
Right.
and teamwork. So, well, we're not.
Good one, Rose.
You make a good hoop.
Yeah, that's what I do best.
You know, well, we're not perfect in terms of getting all the skills right. They're starting to teach the idea that you move, you pass, you move again, and that's how you're going to get to the goal. Pass it to me. Okay, and then I'm going to take one step and pass it back to you. Okay, shoot. See if you can get it in there.
Nice. I didn't even move.
And then, most importantly, what do we do when we make a basket? Boom.
Whoa.
Can you let's give her a grab. Go. One more basket. Sure. Boom.
Well, all startups have to start somewhere, and when it comes to basketball, it's about dribbling and passing. So, Brenda Spoonmore from Dwellable.com, and still working with the NBA. Thank you for showing me that I have no future whatsoever in the NBA, but for showing my daughter, who's actually become really good at dribbling, and for sharing those tips. I just love the idea that you're more than just commerce with Dwellable.com, that you're looking at an engagement and storytelling. So, can anybody do what you're talking about, both on basketball and being an entrepreneur? Do we all have a future in this world?
To me, it's all about stories. If you can find the right story, then you find your path.
Well, that's great. Well, Brenda Spoonmore, thank you so much for sharing your tips and for talking with us about all the wonderful things you do and for actually being a model for women and for entrepreneurs as well. So we invite you all to extend your reach by connecting with us at 4peaks.org. I'm Hanson Hosein. Production of 4 Peaks would not be possible without the generous support of our sponsors.